Yo, rumors have been circulating that countries have been accumulating massive amounts of Bitcoin, causing the Bitcoin price run up 30% in the last couple of weeks alone. I mean, we hit $93,500, a lot sooner than people anticipated. The CEO of Bitcoin Magazine, David Bailey, earlier on this week tweeted, quote, "There is at least one nation state that has been actively acquiring Bitcoin and is now a top 5 hodler." Bitcoin OG Max Keiser has been reminding us that a Middle Eastern country has been accumulating $500 billion worth of Bitcoin. I mean, this kind of makes sense, guys. Connect the dots. Bitcoin Magazine is throwing a conference at the end of the year in Abu Dhabi called Bitcoin MENA. I have a feeling there's going to be a major announcement in that regard. So are these nation states reacting to Trump's victory in the United States? Because we all know that part of the promise that Trump made at Bitcoin 2024 was that he was going to make Bitcoin a strategic reserve asset, a Bitcoin stockpile. Ladies and gentlemen, we are witnessing the Bitcoin global hash war. It has begun. And when countries compete for your Bitcoin, you are the winner. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we're live from the beautiful, beautiful Freedom Country, and I'm here with my legendary co-host, Optimus Fields, and of course this beautiful volcano in the background. Guys, it's going to be a great show. We have so much news to unpack, and of course adopting Bitcoin is coming up later on this week, Friday and Saturday. So much Bitcoin content for you guys, and we're breaking all-time highs in Freedom Country. I mean, dude, Opti, how do you feel, brother?
I feel wonderful. It's incredible. It feels great being down here, though. I think I have some sinus thing going on from all of the fog last night. So, besides my personal health, and I'm kind of struggling, it feels really good being down in El Salvador, hanging out with all the Simply Bitcoin crew. And, man, we're just pumping. Like, how can we not be pumped on days like this?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, of course, we have a friend of a show, dear friend. We have Brian DeMint in the house. Awesome author, and of course, he's the head of marketing for the Orange Palap, which, by the way, stack friends who stack sats. Brian, welcome to the show, man. Happy to have you on.
What's up, boys? Couldn't have picked a better day to be here. I mean, I'm not in Freedom Country like you guys are in Bitcoin Country, but I feel like everybody around the world is living the Bitcoin dream right now. Not just because our buying power is going up, but because the times that you doubted, but you looked at the information, you looked at the philosophy, you questioned yourself, you dug a little bit deeper, you've been proven right. Remember that feeling, because there's going to be days of doubt in the future. These days are really important, not just to celebrate, but to have a stone in place so that you know what's right, what's wrong, what's up, what's down.
Absolutely, 100%. All right, everybody, let's dig into the receipts. So let's jump straight into it. Here is David Bailey. This is the tweet that I was referencing in the opening monologue. David Bailey, of course, CEO of BTC Inc. BTC Inc. are the owners of the famous Bitcoin conference, the one that was thrown in Nashville. So, of course, he was instrumental in getting the Trump administration to feel a certain way about Bitcoin. He was instrumental to getting the Trump to potentially free Ross on day one, which we are going to hold Trump accountable for as soon as he's sworn into office in January 20th of 2025. Anyways, let's get to it. So he said, quote, "There's at least one nation state that has been actively acquiring Bitcoin, is now a top 5 hodler. Hopefully we hear from them soon." And just to kind of give you guys a free, a quick recap, we also heard early on the year that the Kingdom of Bhutan has 1/3 of their GDP in Bitcoin. And unlike other countries, Bhutan never acquired this Bitcoin through confiscation. They acquired this Bitcoin through mining because they have a tremendous amount of hydroelectric capability in the country. So they partnered up with publicly traded miner Bitdeer to roll out their mining capabilities. And I suspect this is a trend that you're going to continue to see. Russia also made Bitcoin mining legal this year. Again, these things are not happening as coincidences. This is what Max Keiser has been talking about for years. This is the global hash war playing out in real time. Anyways, so let's get to some of these some of this list, David Bailey is emphasizing not on this list specifically. I mean, this is a rumor, this is speculation, but they are throwing a conference in Abu Dhabi and the United Arab Emirates, and that specifically Dubai and that country has become one of the, and I hate using this word, but it's the truth, crypto capitals of the world because they have no income tax. So you see a lot of people flocking to Dubai and Abu Dhabi. Anyways, so here is a list of current countries and how much Bitcoin they hold. So at the top of the list is the United States. Trump promised that once he gets elected, this doesn't have to go through legislation. This is purely executive order that he could do this, and he has the power to do so. The United States would not sell any of their Bitcoin. In fact, with the strategic reserve plan and the bill introduced by Senator Cynthia Lummis, they actually want to acquire more Bitcoin. China, second on the list. Not a coincidence, ladies and gentlemen. Isn't it funny that China banned Bitcoin mining, banned mining, but the Chinese government has 190,000 Bitcoin? That tells you everything you need to know. The United Kingdom has 61,245. Ukraine, 46,351. The Kingdom of Bhutan, baby. Man, dude, man, if you see like the country, the way that it's described, it's like they value happiness and Zen over money. I just find that so like symbolic that they're one of the biggest Bitcoin holders in the world. And it makes sense because, everyone wants to achieve the so-called Bitcoin Zen, right? And that's what happens when you hold Bitcoin over a long period of time. So they hold 12,541 Bitcoin. This is a tiny country. They have a big stack. Of course, El Salvador, where we are right now, 5,929 Bitcoin. Venezuela, wow, surprising, 240 Bitcoin. Finland, 90 Bitcoin. Georgia, not the state, but a country, 66. And Bulgaria, 0. And Germany, hashtag effing wrecked. They sold their Bitcoin at 57,000. And you know what's funny is that no one's going to be held accountable for that. Look, someone even commented in the thing, God, that Germany line is so tragic. Classic Euro poor L. Oh man, that's hilarious. Of course, here is Max Keiser tweeting, hard work pays off. Max Keiser reports rumors that Qatar, so apparently it's Qatar, sovereign wealth fund, has entered the Bitcoin market and could be interested in purchasing up to $500 billion worth of Bitcoin. This was tweeted out December 4th, 2023, but coincidentally, Max Keiser went back and found that tweet, quote tweeted it in November 10th of 2024. Could Max know something that we don't? All I can tell you guys for sure, for certain, I'm pretty confident there will be a major announcement at Bitcoin Mina, and I can tell you for certain that Bitcoin has pumped 30%. This has been a historic pump. No one was anticipating this. And of course, this all started due to Donald Trump's famous historic election victory. Anyways, I'm going to pass it on to Opti. Opti, what are your thoughts? I mean, dude, no one could have anticipated this a month ago. Everyone was doom and gloomy. We were getting tired of the chop. It was brutal. It lasted for 8 months going sideways, which in hindsight, I actually think it's a good thing that we chopped because it built a very solid base of which to build upon. If we kept pumping like we were pumping in March, reaching all-time highs, I think we would have had a left translated cycle and we would have peaked a lot sooner, but we would have peaked a lot lower than we could have that I think we're going to peak in 2025. Anyways, Opti, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, first of all, I think this price rise the last couple of days is incredible. And I know, get your tomatoes ready. I'm not the only one saying this anymore. I saw Santa Mal tweet it, but this time does feel different. And by that, I'm not saying in general, but it does feel different than the 2021 bull run. We all know what happened in 2021. We were all expecting 100K. And it never got there. And now, the PTSD rule that we always talk about as Bitcoiners, Bitcoin price does the exact opposite of what everyone thinks is going to happen. We're at 100K basically by Thanksgiving Day, and everyone's still kind of thinking like, oh, next year it's only going to go to 200K. And what we're seeing, of course, all the different signals, some rumors circulating about who's actually buying Bitcoin. We know that the game has changed. We have corporations buying Bitcoin. We have some of the richest people in the world holding and buying Bitcoin. We have nation states, countries buying, mining, holding Bitcoin, storing Bitcoin. So I think it's not a coincidence that we're seeing the price run up as we are, especially considering that Trump did get elected. And we all know the Bitcoin strategic stockpile meme is playing and circulating. So it does feel like we are seeing nation states trying to front run the Bitcoin strategic stockpile in the US. Obviously, Trump isn't a president yet for another month. Is this other countries front running the US's strategic reserve stockpile? I don't think we'll know yet for at least a couple months, but it is feeling like this time is changing. Things are starting to percolate. The price is running at incredible price pumps. You know, the last couple of days we've been sitting here and just like 1K price pumps every hour, and we're like, yo, is it going to hit 90? Is it going to hit 100 by the end of the day?
We were $1,000 away from the God candle. God candle is defined as a Bitcoin candle of 10K. We pumped 9K in a day. Like, that is nuts, guys. Just give yourself a little bit of context, right? Bitcoin took so long just to get to 10K. It took years and years and years and years just to get to 10,000, just to get to 20,000. We had a candle of $10,000 in one day. Like, that is absolutely freaking insane. And we're not even in the year of the bull market, which is historically a year after the halving year. So 2025 looks explosive. Things are lining up. I'm going to be incredibly bullish if we break 100K before 2025. And I think we're going to have an explosive 2025. I'm getting 2017 vibes. I'm not getting 2021 vibes. And Opti knows I'm the bear in this, in the host seat. Anyways, Brian, what are your thoughts, man? This is extremely exciting. Bitcoin's pumping, which means Bitcoin businesses are pumping. Everyone's happy. Having Bitcoin on your treasury as a business is a effing cheat code. I can't emphasize that enough. Brian, what are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, in certain communities, bears are a certain type of person. So I didn't know what you were talking about at first in that, but I will say what you just said about company reserves. We just had a team meeting with my wellness company, and most in my wellness company, my team members aren't all Bitcoiners yet, but being able to lay out the fact that we've been putting into a Bitcoin treasury for the last 10 years, and that if our company didn't bring in another dollar for the next 3 years, everybody would still have a job. All of them are thinking, man, my friends can't find employment, but I work for a company that has a Bitcoin treasury and my job is secure. Like, we're orange pilling people in ways we never thought we would before because of things like that. But a few things. I have quick 3 bullet points, and I promise I'll be quick on this. First, shout out to my boy Trevor. He watches this show all the time. Simply Bitcoin is a part of his orange pilling journey. So, Opti Nico, could you just give a quick shout out to Trevor? Say what's up, Trevor, for me, because that would make this boy's day.
Let's go. Shouts out to Trevor. We love you. Thank you for watching. And man, it's honestly an honor that we're a part of people's, Bitcoin orange pill journey. Nico and I just kind of talk on the internet all the time, and we forget that there's actually real people back there that are watching us, and we seem to be providing value for them.
Shout out Trevor. Thanks for watching, man. Appreciate the support, guys. Like, it's so surreal. Like, I cannot believe this. Started this in 2020 with a crappy camera, crappy microphone, kept going for 4 years, and it's unbelievable to have all your guys' support. It's completely surreal. Sometimes me and Opti, it gets lost on us because we just see numbers on a screen, right? We see the numbers going up. By the way, breaking numbers every single day, breaking records every single day. Shout out to every single one of you guys watching live. If you guys are enjoying the show, smash the like button. But, that's why these Bitcoin conferences, man, I get to see you guys in the flesh, and I'm like, oh, these numbers are real, Opti. These are actual people that like us, that watch our show. So shout out to Trevor, man. This show is dedicated to you, Trevor. Anyways, guys, we have so much to talk about today. But before we do it, remember, guys, Simply Bitcoin is supported by our sponsors. So I want to tell you guys about our lead sponsor, Bitcoin Well. Bitcoin Well is the best place to build your automatic self-custody Bitcoin stack. What makes Bitcoin Well unique compared to everybody else is that it's automatic self-custody, which means as soon as you buy Bitcoin on Bitcoin Well and the funds clear, it goes straight to your self-custody Bitcoin wallet address, which perfectly aligns with the Simply Bitcoin ethos of the separation of money and state, because after all, the revolution is self-custody. Buy real Bitcoin, enable your independence with the fastest and safest way to buy Bitcoin on chain or via Lightning in Canada and the USA with Bitcoin Well. It's also a publicly traded company, so buy their ticker if you're interested. Also, they just launched Bitcoin Well Infinite, which is a premium product for high net worth individuals. And it's tailored for anyone who's interested in buying over $50,000 worth of Bitcoin or more. If you email me at nico@bitcoinwell.com, I will personally set you up with one of the Bitcoin Well representatives. This is a white glove service. So for people who are tired of using Coinbase and they're sick of the UI, they're sick of the lack of support, and they want to deal with the real human to buy their Bitcoin, Bitcoin Well Infinite is the product for you. Email me at nico@bitcoinwell.com today if you're interested. Also, if you buy Bitcoin on Bitcoin Well, you earn Bitcoin Well points, and you could redeem those points towards the Bitcoin Wishing Well contest, which we'll do live for you guys. Get your Lightning wallets ready. First person to scan the QR code has won 500 sats. Every time you toss a coin into the Wishing Well, you have an opportunity to win up to 1 million Satoshis. If you use promo code SimplyBTC, again, SimplyBTC, to sign up to bitcoinwell.com today, you get 3 tosses into the Bitcoin Wishing Well. Check out bitcoinwell.com. All right, everybody, let's get to the numbers. We have lots to talk about. Let's check it out. I want to tell you guys about our sponsor, Stamp Seed. Is your Bitcoin in cold storage really secure? Are your seed words really secure? Stamp Seed's do-it-yourself kit has everything you'll need to hammer your seed words into commercial-grade titanium plates instead of writing them down on paper. Don't do that. Paper sucks. You want to literally stamp your seed into this plate of titanium. Your words are actually stamped into the metal plate with this hammer. So once your words are in, they aren't going anywhere. No risk of the plate breaking apart and your pieces falling everywhere. Titanium stamp seeds will survive nearly triple the heat produced by a house fire. They are also crush-proof, waterproof, non-corrosive, and most importantly, because this is generational wealth, time-proof. All things that paper is not, allowing you to hodl your Bitcoin for the long haul. I mean, here is the plate that they crushed. They put in water, they put a blowtorch to it, and as you can see, the words have survived. Stamp your seed on Stamp Seed. And you can use promo code SIMPLY to get 15% off anything on their store. Head over to Stamp Seed. All right, everybody. You want to maintain the relationship with your grandchildren, and the way that you do that is by handing them generational wealth. And one of the worst, can you imagine this conversation 20 years from now? It's like, Grandpapa, are you going to give me the Bitcoin? It's like, no, grandson, I wrote down the seed words on paper and the dog ate it. And then your grandson looks at you in the eyes and says, Grandpapa, you're an idiot. And that's exactly why you should get yourself a Stamp Seed. Promo code SIMPLY to get 15% off. Anyways, at the time of recording, the Bitcoin price is $92,030. A block height, 870,156 sats per dollar, 1,086. Market cap, 1.82 trillion. Bitcoin price in gold, 35.7 ounces. Bitcoin versus gold market cap, 10.1%. Holy cow. Opti doesn't have it's my soundboard. Opti doesn't have his horns. But yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Listen, Bitcoin crossed the market cap of silver yesterday. Silver had a 4,000 year head start. We are just getting the party started, baby. Anyways, percentage issued 94.19%, decline from all-time high negative 1.4%, and realized monetary inflation continuing to take fiat currencies to absolute school, 1.23%. Anyways, Jack Mallers and Dave Portnoy were kind of going back and forth. And this is a misconception that I hear from a lot of people. And the misconception is, Nico, I'm late to Bitcoin. It's $92,288. Like, I missed it. I thought I was late to Bitcoin. First time I bought Bitcoin, $600. I thought I was super effing late. I was like, man, people were buying this for $1. People were buying this for $10. Like, I missed the train. There's no way I'm going to ever catch up. That's wrong, because when this thing's trading at millions of dollars per coin, which will inevitably do because it is the superior asset, you're going to be like, dude, do you remember when like Bitcoin was at 92,000 and I could have stacked some? I think instead of saying 92,000 from now on, I'm just going to say 0.1 million, right? It's just better. Anyways, and also not to mention the unit bias. Remember, guys, there's 100 million Satoshis in one Bitcoin. So Jack Mallers is going to explain to Dave Portnoy. Of course, Dave Portnoy continues to say he fucked up. I have the video for you guys. Let's check it out. Here's Dave Portnoy.
I fucked up Bitcoin again. I have it, but I was going to buy $2 million on the ledger with Barstool, and I think I said I want in the 40s. I went to do it. I literally switched the money into Kraken, and by the time I got the $2 million into Kraken, was it 39 or 49? It was back over the threshold, and my CFO's like, want me to buy it? It's like, no, we wait for it to go back to this number and then buy the 2 mil, and it just never went back. I've given up on crypto. I love crypto. I own it. It's on the ledger, not as much as I'd like. It keeps me up at night, time to time, because it's like, if I just put 10 million, I would have made 10 million. So that haunts me. But I'm almost at peace with it. It'll just always be that sweet piece of ass that got away, you know?
All right, everybody. Dave Portnoy absolutely being freaking hilarious. I'll tell you guys a personal story. So I bought the top at 20,000. I bought a whole coin in 2021 at the $68,000 peak. It felt freaking horrible when we went down to 16,000. I was like, damn, bro, I could have bought like 3. What the F was I thinking? The point I'm trying to make is this is just Bitcoin. And this is why dollar cost averaging is like the best strategy, because you're going to buy the top. I mean, Opti, I'm sure you've bought the top. I'm sure Brian
tops has
I'm sure Brian,
timestamps.
you've bought the top as well. It's like everyone just buys the top because you don't know. So the best strategy I recommend is dollar cost average. You are not late to Bitcoin. And here's Jack Mallers explaining that.
Listen, thinking you're late to Bitcoin is a failure of ego. I'll repeat that again. Thinking you are late to Bitcoin is a failure of ego. Bitcoin is an ego test. Late to Bitcoin, according to who? Oh, you're comparing yourself to your childhood friend. Oh, you're comparing yourself to people on the internet. Oh, you're comparing yourself to your coworker. That's why you think you're late to Bitcoin. What is that? That's a failure of your ego. That's an insecure, small person. All of those, that has nothing to do with Bitcoin. You think you're late to Bitcoin? Michael Saylor just bought $2 billion worth of it. You're late? Where? How? Bitcoin's an ego test. As soon as you can sacrifice your ego and say, I'm not bigger than this thing, I can't control this thing, I am one with this thing. This thing is more important than me, it's bigger than me. It's when you become a Bitcoiner. You join the network, you have every single equal right with everyone else on the network. There's no hierarchy, rules with no rulers. That's when you become a Bitcoiner. So I think thinking that you're late to Bitcoin is a failure of ego. Stop comparing yourself to other people. Listen, at the end of the day, you got to put your money somewhere. You got to put your time and energy, your effort, your labor somewhere, right? You get up, you go to work, you contribute to this world. You got to store that value somewhere. You're not going to store it in the best place to store it in human history, because you're comparing yourself to your friend? What type of man are you? Come on. So I don't know. Like, I just don't get that. Don't compare yourself to other people. Decisions are made at the margin. You wake up every day, you contribute value to the people around you. You got to put that value somewhere. Bitcoin's the best place to put that value, period. So there's no top. There is no being late or early. Again, Bitcoin's not a hedge, it's the solution. Every single day that you wake up and you do things for others, you create value for society, and you have to store that value. You put it in Bitcoin, obviously. It's been the correct answer for the last 15 years. It'll be the correct answer for the next 1,500.
And ladies and gentlemen, that's exactly why they call them Jack mother effing ballers. Anyways, guys, Jack dropping the mic, completely correct. Bitcoin is an ego test. Anyways, I'm going to pass it on to our boy Brian. Brian, what are your thoughts? What that wisdom from Jack Ballers, bro? Like, dude, you know, it's so good every single time.
I mean, that was like a Jack Goggins speech, dude. That was a man up, push through. I've never seen him talk like that. And I think that it's because we get this, and he's trying to break through this thing that we have as humans, because we inherently want and need to compare ourselves. But the comparison here that makes sense is comparing Bitcoin to the dollar, man. Like you're never late, because the merits of the dollar are continuing to do dollar stuff. It's continuing to go up, and Bitcoin is left unchanged. That fact does not change at all. And let me prove it to you. If you do want to compare yourself to other people, if you don't want to take Jack's analogy, or you don't want to take his buck up and man up perspective, if you want to compare yourself to other people, don't compare yourself to the dude that bought Bitcoin at $10 and miraculously held, which most of the people that bought at 10 didn't hold, by the way. But let's say your buddy tells you that. If you want to compare yourself to the 99% of people out there. Walk around and ask your friends and family, do you know how many Bitcoin there are? And most people will not be able to articulate the fact that there are only 21 million Bitcoin. They might be able to tell you the Bitcoin price. They might be able to tell you it's some digital crypto thing, but they won't be able to tell you that there's only 21 million. And why does that matter? It's because the world hasn't caught up to the idea that Bitcoin is finite. People haven't even grasped that concept yet. So until everybody knows that concept, you're not late. That's just a fact. You're not late, because not everybody knows that. Not even the majority of people know that. So if you do want to compare yourself, which Jack says don't, but if you're going to, you are early. People don't get this yet.
100%, dropping wisdom. Brian DeMint. I mean, bro, this guy's written some of the most epic books that are right behind him: Bitcoin Evangelism and Parallel. So yeah, man, that Brian DeMint dropping the wisdom like always. Anyways, guys, I think we just broke an all-time high on on Simply Bitcoin Live on YouTube. So shout out to
didn't just break it, blowing through it right now. This is crazy. Let's
732 watching live just on YouTube alone. Shout out to all you guys. Can't believe it. And appreciate it. If you guys are enjoying the live stream so far, smash the like button. Also, shout out to the 1,000 of you guys watching on X, and of course, shout out to the 100 of you guys watching on Rumble, and of course, we are streaming on Nostr. Nostr stream is doing well also. Anyways, guys, we love you all. We're gonna be right back.
Wait, Nico. Let me chime in here, because I think there's a very good lesson to learn from Dave Portnoy, and it's something we tell you guys constantly. You see this play out with new entrants into the Bitcoin space, is everyone wants to time their Bitcoin buys. Yes, you know, in hindsight, it's always a good idea to be like, man, I wish I bought the dip here. Like, I wish I knew that, 3.5K in 2020 was going to be the absolute bottom. I should have gone completely in it. And you see Dave Portnoy falling into that really bad thinking here. Everyone thinks they can time Bitcoin, and time in the market beats timing the market. So look, love Dave as an entrepreneur out there, but his Bitcoin journey is super rough. And I forget what the meme goes, but, if you're smart, you learn the lessons on yourself. But if you're wise, you listen other people and you learn from what they're doing. So don't make the same mistakes that Dave Portnoy is making. just time in the market beats timing the market. Consistently buy Bitcoin. Yes, you can time some, some dips here. This is buying the dip territory, but you want to consistently buy Bitcoin. This is how you win on your Bitcoin journey. Go on, Nico.
Amen to that. Amen to that. All right, guys, we still have a loaded show for you guys. We're going to talk a lot more things. We have Max Keiser, epic clip. Once again, breaking the Bitcoin echo chamber. So, guys, stay tuned. We will be right back. Here we go.
I want to give a very special shout out to our sponsor, Compass Mining. They make Bitcoin mining accessible to everyone, from beginners to experienced investors. Their turnkey miners gets you online and hashing within 48 hours, making it easier than ever to start your mining journey. Plus, with their active marketplace, you can resell your miner at any time, adding flexibility and value to your investment. Visit their website to access a wealth of resources, learning everything you need to know about Bitcoin mining. Take your first step into the world of Bitcoin mining with confidence. Discover more at compassmining.io. Again, compassmining.io, and see how Compass Mining can power your success. I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Foundation. It's self-custody done right. They built a premium grade hardware wallet called Passport right here in the US, and it integrates seamlessly with their free app called Envoy. Passport is fully open source and verifiable. It's the most intuitive Bitcoin wallet designed with a UX reminiscent of a classic feature phone, so you'll know how to navigate it and use it the moment you pick it up. It's also air-gapped, meaning Bitcoin stays offline, never touching an internet connection. It's Bitcoin only, open source verifiable, air-gap security model, gorgeous design craft, premium grade materials. Get your Bitcoin off exchanges and into your own hands in just a few minutes with Passport at foundation.xyz/simply. Get peace of mind for your peace.
All right, everybody, we are back. And guys, listen, not your keys, not your cheese. You want to take self-custody of your Bitcoin, and that's why we recommend our sponsor, Passport by Foundation Devices. It's a Bitcoin-only hardware wallet that's incredibly easy to use. It's convenient, but it doesn't sacrifice security. This is the perfect gift to give to someone that perhaps feels a little bit intimidated by self-custody. The Passport by Foundation Devices is the perfect gift for them, so they can benefit from taking self-custody of their Bitcoin, and by doing so, taking back their financial sovereignty. Anyways, jumping into the news, we have lots to talk about today, ladies and gentlemen, so let's do it. Here's a concept that we've been talking about: breaking the effing Bitcoin echo chamber. So what does that mean? Bitcoin content creators, we make Bitcoin content for other Bitcoiners. But how do you break the echo chamber? You break the echo chamber by getting Donald Trump at the Bitcoin conference. You break the echo chamber by getting Tim Pool, Cernovich, mainstream influencers that didn't build their following in the Bitcoin community to talk about Bitcoin. And that's exactly what's been happening. Tim Pool tweeted about it. Cernovich tweeted about it. And people are waking up to the scam of fiat money. I mean, here's Elon Musk on one of Trump's campaign speeches. Let's check it out.
I mean, at the end of the day, you're being taxed. You're being taxed. All government spending is taxation. So whether it's direct taxation or all government spending, it either becomes inflation or it's direct taxation. Your money is being wasted, and the Department of Government Efficiency is going to fix that.
So, of course, he's referencing, the so-called Doge. I was trolling people yesterday. I'd said very, very bullish on Doge, and
Nico's a shitcoiner.
And I knew that people were not going to understand the joke. So I put in giant letters, parentheses, not talking about the shitcoin, but still the Bugle literally took it out of context. The Bugle, you're worse than CNN, bro, trying to attack my reputation like that. But anyways, so people are waking up. The Overton window is shifting, and Elon said something really important. Inflation is taxation, which is something that was only being talked about in Bitcoin circles. Now it's being talked about out in the open. guys, this is a one-way street to the inevitable thing that's going to be said, which is ending the Fed, which is the source. Listen, even if Elon gets in there, and then Trump made the announcement that it's going to be Vivek and Elon behind the DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency. Even if they get in there, one election happens and all of that stuff could get walked back. Why? Because the federal government and the administrative state, the unelected bureaucracy that remains in power, no matter who gets elected, their source of funding is the money printing. This is something that Nayib Bukele even said when he gave a speech at CPAC in Washington, D.C. He said, hey, guys, listen, this is what Americans don't have to understand. Your government is not funded by taxation. Your government is funded by money printing. And money printing is a form of taxation. Or as a Bitcoiner would say, money printing is a form of theft. Anyways, speaking about moving the Overton window, speaking about breaking the Bitcoin echo chamber, ladies and gentlemen, this guy is about to get inaugurated into office. And not too long ago, this is Donald Trump's words. He said, I would like to wish our great Bitcoiners a happy 16th anniversary of Satoshi's white paper. We will end Kamala's war on crypto, and Bitcoin will be made in the USA. Vote Trump, hashtag Bitcoin, hashtag free Ross, day one. That guy is the president of the United States starting January 2025. You want to know why we're pumping so hard? This is why, baby. Anyways, so moving on. Max Keiser went on the Alex Jones show. And of course, Alex Jones, this is how the news cycle works. When things are trending, obviously Bitcoin is trending because the price is pumping. Max Keiser went on the Alex Jones show. Why is this important? Why is this relevant? It's irrelevant. Again, breaking the Bitcoin echo chamber, getting the message of Bitcoin to audiences that are not plugged in to the Bitcoin news cycle or to Bitcoin content creators. Let's check out what Keiser has to say. Here we go.
I think it's clear to say that Bitcoin has achieved escape velocity, that it'll become the world global standard. And the total addressable market for Bitcoin is the market in financials on planet Earth, which is roughly $400 trillion. So you got to potentially move from $1.7 trillion in market cap up to 400 trillion. So do the math. It's extraordinarily high. Let's say it captures between 40 or 50% of a $400 trillion market. That's still, you're talking millions of dollars per coin. And that's the future of where Bitcoin is going, because it is perfect money. And what do I mean by perfect money? Is that it is a way for commerce to happen without any friction whatsoever and without any problems with inflation whatsoever. So that since it cannot be printed by any government or corporation and there's a finite supply, therefore anybody who makes Bitcoin and saves Bitcoin, they know that that Bitcoin will be accepted anywhere that they go on planet Earth, which is they can travel through space. And they know that in any time in the future, they can use their Bitcoin to interact and conduct commerce as well. So you travel through time.
So you're saying Bitcoin is the singularity of currency?
It is the singularity. I call it the Bitcoin singularity.
And of course, guys, Keiser has been going on Alex Jones' show for a decade, telling him about this. Alex Jones has not listened, but the beautiful thing about number go up technology is that eventually everyone bows down. I've been trying to orange pill my parents-in-law for as long as I've been in Bitcoin, 8 years. It wasn't until about a year or two ago that they capitulated, because they're like, okay, this kid, has a YouTube channel, has a beard. Why should I listen to him? And then all of a sudden they see number go up. Number go up eventually makes everyone bow down to the king. This is Larry Fink. It's Donald Trump, right? Everyone, nation states, the Kingdom of Bhutan, potentially Qatar, potentially the United Arab Emirates, the United States, talking about a strategic Bitcoin stockpile. This is Bitcoin's superior incentives. And this is why the ECB wrote a paper freaking the F out. This is Bitcoin's incentives ruling the day and proving. And I think this is the battle to come. So we just left what I call the disintermediation of information. That was broken the day that Trump won the election, because essentially what Trump proved is that he circumvented legacy media, which was completely biased and kept on attacking him, by going on podcast, independent media, going on Joe Rogan and getting incredible numbers, much higher numbers than any type of legacy media channel. So the day that happened, and when Elon bought X and freed the bird, so to speak, we are now entering a new age, what the sovereign individual predicted when they were talking about the transition into the information age. Information is now free. The average everyday person is not getting their news from the New York Times anymore. The most downloaded news app in America and many countries around the world is X, the rise of citizen journalism, the rise of independent media. So we witnessed the disintermediation of information. You saw how much they fought. There's a video of literally Hillary Clinton saying, if we don't rein and censor social media, we're going to lose total control. She was absolutely right. But now what we're transitioning to is the disintermediation of money and state. And I think it's going to be bumpy. It's going to be interesting, but we're in the first kind of innings of that, because remember, governments get a tremendous amount of power by not only having a monopoly on money, the creation of money, but also the control over money, therefore the control over people. Anyways, I'm going to pass it on to Brian. Brian, what are your thoughts on this? I think Max Keiser absolutely hit the ball out of the park when he was talking about that. What's your take?
All right, boys, follow me. I'm going to go on a little bit of a walk here, okay? But I'm going to weave it together. So, all right. Talking about breaking the echo chamber. Well, to answer your question, yes, Max was right in where he got, but I actually think he's wrong in how he defined it. And I'm going to get to that. So breaking the echo chamber, I just, even from my own personal experience, there was a hedge fund that reached out. They've never touched Bitcoin in their life until about 6 months ago. They reached out. They bought 200 copies of Bitcoin Evangelism for their highest net worth investors. That orange pilled them. They decided that their fund was going to buy $80 million worth of Bitcoin. They did that. Guess what? We're talking about how the echo chamber is being broken. Those people who just looked at it as an investment opportunity, those who bought these hedge funds that bought 6 months ago, that $80 million of Bitcoin is now well over $100 million. We're seeing the breaking of the echo chamber. And now once you break outside of the echo chamber, you no longer have to do the work outside of the echo chamber with that group of people. That group of people is now working in their own echo chamber to further the message of Bitcoin. So you don't have to speak to the rest of those high net worth investors. The high net worth investors that have been orange pilled are now orange pilling. It's like the orange plague that's spreading across these places, and it's breaking. That echo chamber is breaking, and it's breaking very, very quickly. So if you guys don't know what's going on behind the scenes, I can assure you it is wildfire. You guys should be more bullish than you are. Everybody's bullish in the chat. You're not bullish enough. This is absolutely crazy. You guys pointed out to the charts earlier in the episode about the charts of sovereign nations and holders. We witnessed a David and Goliath story. Germany is the world's third largest economy. El Salvador is the world's 104th largest economy. Germany, Goliath, just took a massive L, like you guys pointed out. David, the little guy that could, is getting a massive W. That shows something to the rest of the world. If you're a small country or if you're a big country, Bitcoin has consequences for you, and it can change the future of how people perceive your nation. Now, what's the good news in that? A shot has been blasted across the bow, because if you adopt Bitcoin, you win. If you short Bitcoin, you lose, no matter how big your economy is. Germany proved that. Now, people are, I'm watching morning shows before I came on here today, and on the major financial shows, they're saying, I don't think Trump's going to do a Bitcoin strategic reserve. That was just a campaign promise. What do you think is happening? Sovereign nations around the world are seeing people that adopt, or seeing countries that adopt Bitcoin take W's. They are now taking Bitcoin positions as well. Every new nation that adopts Bitcoin between now and January 20th increases the likelihood of not only a Bitcoin strategic reserve, but a Bitcoin strategic reserve on day one. We're not just talking about free Ross day one. We're talking about strategic reserve day one, because Trump will be forced to, unless he wants to lag behind. He prompted this run by his announcement. He doesn't want to get front run by all these countries who are taking credit for this position he's adopted. It's a self-fulfilling loop. And guys, where I think Max Keiser got this wrong, I told you I was going to weave it. All right. Where Max Keiser got this wrong, it's not the singularity. It is our Constantine moment. If you guys understand history, Rome oppressed the church for hundreds and hundreds of years, but the church just needed to hang on for long enough to make the conditions ripe enough so that the most powerful man in the world adopted the faith that his nation had previously oppressed. When that happens, in an instant, in an executive order from the emperor, the nation then becomes not a polytheistic nation. It now becomes a monotheistic nation, a Christian monotheistic nation, in one word, in one edict. That's what we're in. We're in the Constantine moment of Bitcoin. Whether you like Trump or not, there's plenty of people that didn't like Constantine. This is that type of moment because money is a faith system. And that's where Max Keiser was right. Money is a faith system. People are they're losing faith in the polytheism of fiat, and their faith is increasing every second that they see the Bitcoin price ticking up, new nations adopting it, hedge funds adopting it, you and I adopting it. The faith in Bitcoin is increasing, and tipping that moment, that Constantine moment, is what we're in right now. It's not the singularity, it's the rise of the Christian Roman Empire, but this one is Bitcoin.
Beautiful, beautiful. Oh my God, I love the historical kind of examples, because there's a very famous quote, ladies and gentlemen, which is, history doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes, right? And if you study history, you will inevitably start to see patterns, right? People have to understand this. Human nature does not change. Technology could change, right? But human nature does not change, which means that over time, people tend to kind of repeat the same patterns. And if you kind of include inflation into this mix, guys, you can make a very strong argument that one of the primary reasons as to why the Roman Empire fell was due to inflation, right? In early America, they had a very, very bad experience with paper money, which is why a lot of the founding fathers were not fans of this. There's very famous quotes about George Washington and other presidents that were like, listen, paper money is a horrible, horrible idea. And it seems like it's like history, it repeats itself. And during the Roman Empire, it wasn't paper money. What they would do is coin clipping. So essentially, when it was the Roman Republic, the amount of silver per coin was like, I think it was like 89%. Towards the end of the Roman Empire, it was like 0.0000000. It's a very small number. So essentially, history is repeating itself, but this time is different because we finally have something that will break the cycle, and that is Bitcoin. Opti, what's your take?
Yeah, well, it's hard to follow up such wisdom, but I do want to just touch on the idea of breaking the echo chamber. Obviously, guys, you know, we're on YouTube. Our goal is to get the Bitcoin message to as many people as possible. We have heard you guys, you know, the criticism, constructive criticism, if I'm being nicely, of like, man, just go on Rumble, you know, spread the good gospel, say what you really want to. But the goal here is to get as many people, as many new people watching Bitcoin, falling down the rabbit hole. And this is how we reach out to other people, is you go meet them where they are. And, you know, I think Brian made a point earlier where it's like, if you go out and talk to normal people, if you are still a person that talks to normal people, go out there and ask them about Bitcoin, and you start to realize just how early we are, how little people understand of what Bitcoin is. I think I have this meme that I always say, I think most of the planet has probably heard about Bitcoin, but in those numbers, most of those people don't know why we Bitcoin. And this is why it's so important to reach out, meet people where they are, get them to try to ask themselves questions. You know, we always ask the same question. You start asking yourself the simple question of what is money? And then you end up a Bitcoiner. You end up stacking aggressively. You end up realizing that, hey, maybe the fiat system has lied to me. Maybe there's other things that I need to question. But I think the point remains the same. We have crossed the Rubicon into mainstream consciousness, and it's only going to increase. We've been saying this pretty much all year, that we're feeling like, man, it really feels like everyone is starting to get curious about Bitcoin. And now it's like becoming a fact. I don't think it's a coincidence that once Trump came out, said he's going to be pro Bitcoin, we're seeing a Bitcoin price rise. We're seeing nation states front running other nation states, and the price is responding to it. I usually say that the Bitcoin price is a real-time metric of people's understanding of Bitcoin, but I was corrected once in the chat. And I like this one better, that the Bitcoin bottoms of the bear markets are the real-time metric of people's understanding of Bitcoin, and the price rise is obviously the FOMO, people trying to get in, you know, the get-rich-quick schemers out there. But Bitcoin is catching on. It's a global phenomenon, and the world is waking up to the power of Bitcoin, and you just love to see it.
Absolutely, 100%. Guys, we still have the culture left up. We have so much content for you guys. We're going to talk to Brian DeMint about the orange collapse, so stay tuned. Before we get to the culture, I do want to give a shout out to our partners, HIVE Technologies. As the first ever public miner, HIVE's been battle tested through every possible market. And as the future as the first with an AI strategy, HIVE continues to redefine the future of sustainable computing. Gotta also casually drop in here, HIVE consistently tops the industry in Bitcoin mined per exahash. They're lean and mean, they're green and clean, and they're changing the game. Learn more by following them at Hive Digital Tech or hivedigital.com. Also, check out their ticker on the NASDAQ if you're interested in purchasing the stock, Hive. Also, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, BitBlockBoom. Guys, we are going to be attending this conference, and we are also going to be doing the production for them. This is one of my favorite Bitcoin conferences. In fact, this is the first Bitcoin conference that Simply Bitcoin did a production for. This is the Bitcoin conference where me and Opti met in the flesh for the first time. In fact, I think we shared a room together, and that's where the friendship started. The best way to get a job in the industry and to connect with fellow Bitcoiners is by going to Bitcoin conferences. And we recommend BitBlockBoom. It's a pure, true Bitcoin conference. It's going to be April 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th in Dallas, Texas. And you want to get your tickets quickly because the prices do increase in 18 days. The whole Simply Bitcoin crew will be there. And we have a special promo code for you guys. If you use BBB21, you get $100 off. All right, everybody, let's get to the culture. We have a lot to talk about. All right, everybody. I also want to give a shout out to our sponsor, the Orange Pill app. Stack friends who stack sats. The Orange Pill app is the #1 resource for Bitcoin-only events. It's also a great resource for you to connect with fellow Bitcoiners, especially if you're traveling, you're on the go. Perhaps you've been in your city for a while and you don't know any Bitcoiners around you. It has a very clever filtration system. So essentially, you won't find the, hey, if you send me 1 Bitcoin, I'll send you 2 on the app. And also it has a really clever geographical feature. So if you're traveling to a new city, you pull up the Orange Pill app and it will literally show you, like by miles, what Bitcoiners are near you. And it gives you the ability to send them a message directly. Also, it's one of the best ways to reach me. Don't really answer Twitter DMs or random emails these days, but if you send me a message on the Orange Pill app every week or 2, I make sure to get back to every single one of you guys. So to get started, scan the QR code on your screen or check the link in the video description to download the Orange Pill app today, Bitcoin's #1 social layer. All right, everybody, I do want to bring up our special guest for today, the one, the only, the legendary Brian DeMint. How you doing, my friend? How's life?
Never better, my man. I mean, life is good for many, many reasons. Bitcoin is just the world's best cherry on top. And thanks for the shout out for Orange Pill app again, man. If one of the biggest questions we get for people that aren't on the app yet is, hey, are there Bitcoiners in my area? If you ask that question, great. That's why we built the app. Go to orangepillapp.com/explorer. You don't need to have a membership or anything like that. orangepillapp.com/explorer. You can see how many Bitcoiners are in your area. You can just toggle around the map and you can see, hey, how many Bitcoiners are there in Russia or Guatemala or whatever you want. It's actually kind of fun, but that is our passion, man, is connecting Bitcoiners. So thank you for always giving that shout out. And I know that the community gets a lot of value out of being able to interact with you there. But man, my journey has been about orange pilling and connecting Bitcoiners. And I think that not only is the future Bitcoin and the future's orange, the future's about in-person connections. You listen to guys like Sam Altman, the head of OpenAI. they say that they think that there's going to be in the next 10 years, the next 5 years, that there's going to be a resurgence of people not going necessarily with digital music, because AI is going to be producing all sorts of music. That the real value is going to be, if you want to listen to real music, you're going to go to a live concert, or you're not going to watch a movie, you're going to go to a live play, those types of things. So if the future is trending that way, and I think we already kind of sense that a little bit, I think that one of the biggest things we can do is build out our social layer, build out our social network. I know that I've benefited a ton from that. If I wasn't on the team at Orange Pill app, I would certainly be a member and connecting. I've met dozens of people through the app that I didn't know. I'm like a Bitcoiner that puts my face out there, but I didn't know how many Bitcoiners were in my area. And that is, it's been rewarding, fulfilling. It holds me accountable to being disciplined in my Bitcoin journey. So man, I just appreciate you guys giving us a chance to wrap on it a bit.
Absolutely. I'm a huge fan of the app, man. And I completely, I echo what you're saying. It's allowed me to connect with people. I mean, the messages, man, it's so awesome. It's so heartwarming. I'll get stuff like, people that are halfway across the world, like Nico, absolutely love your show, love to connect with you. And by the way, I'm not the only one high profile Bitcoiner that's on there. You have Natalie Burnell, you have BTC Sessions, you have Knut Svenholm, right? You have Brian DeMint, you have Optimus Fields, right? There's so many, there's so many of these Bitcoiners that are on the app, and it gives you the ability to send them a message, to connect with them, to ask them questions, and of course, fellow plebs that you can see, and you'll be surprised how many people are in your area. You just don't know. How else would you know? How else would you know? Right? Twitter isn't exactly the best resource for that, because everyone's anon. You don't know where they're at. It doesn't show you, the geographical feature. So that's something that I love about the Orange Pill app, because it gives you the ability to see the Bitcoiners that are geographically near you, and it'll give you the ability to connect with them. So, for example, right now we're in town for the Adopting Bitcoin conference, right? And let's say, me and Opti wanted to go out, we're like resting at night because we know these next 4 days are going to be crazy. Let's say we wanted to go out, we'd pull up the Orange Pill app, we'd see who's in town, send them a message, connect with them, like that's what it's about. That's what makes it very, very special. And again, it has a clever filtration system. So you won't find spam on the app, because that's one of the questions that I get a lot. You'll only find fellow Bitcoiners. It's really, really, really cool. Also, I'm going to pass it on to Brian. Brian, yesterday was Orange Pill app's 2nd birthday. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Man, this has been huge. Just like you guys building a show you guys have built it for a long time, but you built it really through this last bear market. I think a lot of us became subscribers to your channel through the low points, because why do people gravitate towards to things like this high signal content, or an app like Orange Pill app that connects Bitcoiners? It's because the people that have high conviction, they want to find other people with high conviction. It's like the dude that's super jacked at the gym. He doesn't want to work out with the guy that's the first day person in the gym. Like you want to find other people that are at your level or share that value. It's like starting off on friendship second base, man, which is a weird way to say it. But I met Mateo, the founder of Orange Pill app, at the Orange Pill app booth at Pacific Bitcoin 2 years ago. And not only that, I got the pitch as a member, being one of the first people to sign up with Michael Saylor. It was like this really weird kind of surreal experience. That was my first Bitcoin conference I had been to. And I saw right then the value of in real life connections. And I've never gone back, but man, it's been 2 years. There's over 13,000 Bitcoiners on the app. Now, when we usually talk about things like Twitter that has millions, or Facebook with billions of users, it's easy to get lost in the sauce. There's bots on there. There's people that have fake accounts, whatever. But with Orange Pill app, every one of those, just like you were saying, we were talking about earlier, all the members of your audience are real people. Every one of those connections is real, and it matters. So Orange Pill app is celebrating 2 years of connecting Bitcoiners. And yesterday we were fortunate enough to sponsor Julian's latest documentary called "What is a Bitcoiner?" We retweeted it on our Twitter, on our X. If you guys want to go watch it, it's a really cool documentary. It's not all about Orange Pill app, but Orange Pill app does make an appearance, because at one point the documentary crew got their plane got lost, or not lost. Their plane didn't get lost. Their flight got canceled, and they were going to have to live in the airport for like a day and a half if they couldn't find a place to stay because their funds were all tapped and everything. They went on the app, found a Bitcoiner that said that they could stay with them. I know, Nico, you're no stranger to people showing up on your couch like we were talking about, but it's one of those things where people's lives are seasoned. It's salted. We get a little bit extra flavor from those little sprinkles of relationships that we get through these connections. So it's the documentary does a great job. It shows PubKey in New York. It shows all sorts of things with, I'm very passionate about the Bitcoin social layer, the people. I know this is the most inflammatory thing that you can say to a group of Bitcoiners, but without the people, Bitcoin is just zeros and ones. It is a tool that in the hands of people is a powerful tool for change. But you, the person listening to this right now, are a essential piece of that recipe. And if we lose sight of that, we lose sight of the whole thing. And that's what these 2 years have been about.
Love it. Love it.
100%. Brian, can I tell the story about the couch?
Yeah, man, go for it.
Okay. So
We should just cut it off right there. Just don't tell it and then let people's mind wander. No, I'm just kidding.
Something happened with the couch.
No,
So the founder of Orange Pill app, Matteo, good friend, he actually messaged me. And I found out he was in town, and I knew he was the CEO of Orange Pill app, and obviously he knew that I was the host of Simply. And we were just chatting, and it was around when the Bitcoin conference was being hosted in Miami, and I live in Miami. And I've never met Matteo in my life. We were just talking. I know he's a fellow Bitcoiner. I know he's the CEO of a company, and I don't know what happened, how the conversation led to whatever, but it was like, yeah, man, just come sleep on my couch, to stay over, because I think he needed a place to stay. And showed up at like midnight, like 11:45 at night. My girlfriend, who's now my wife, was like, what the fuck's going on? I'm like, no, babe, it's okay. He's a Bitcoiner. And she's like, oh, okay, that's fine. And then, I let Matteo in. Like, I lay out the couch. But here's the thing, guys. It was so dark because it was like late at night, and I didn't want to turn on the lights to wake up my wife. I never saw Matteo's face. I didn't even know what he looked like. And then the next day, I wake up relatively early to go and see if he wanted to see something to eat. And I look at the couch, just gone. He's just gone. And apparently Brian just picked him up, in the morning. But that was like my first interaction with Matteo. I didn't see his face. I didn't know what he looked like at the time. We met later after the fact. But these are the types of connections that you can make on the Orange Pill app. It's very, very, very special. And there's about, let me get this number. There's about 13,629 Bitcoiners that are currently on the app right now. And that number continues to go absolutely freaking exponential. So anyways,
can I say something real quick? I know. Yeah, I'm taking up more than my time here, but that story, as weird as it is and as funky as it is, it's not unique in the sense that almost everybody on the app has a story like that. We have a professional NBA basketball player, Matthew Dellavedova, played with LeBron James on the Cavaliers. I mean, this guy's like total Bitcoin max. He was one of the first guys on Orange Pill app. We had people reaching out to us early on saying, hey, I think you have a spammer on the app because this guy's acting like he's an NBA player and he keeps telling me, hey, I'm in town. Do you want tickets to the game tonight? Turned out he wasn't spammed. Like that's the kind of spam you get on Orange Pill app. It's an NBA player inviting you to come have courtside seats to his game because he gets free tickets and he happens to be in your town that night. Oh, and afterwards, do you want to come on the court and take some pictures and shoot some shots? That's literally the spam that people have gotten on Orange Pill app. It's an entirely different level. The interactions are so crazy. We would have never even predicted that these are the things that would happen when you mix Bitcoiners. It's crazy.
1,000,000%.
Hey Nico, before I know we're getting towards the end of the show, but I know Brian does have a call to action. So I'm going to pull up the tweet and Brian, lay this out for everyone before we wrap up today's show.
All right. So we have a call to action for everybody. If we can get Senator Cynthia Loomis to sign up for the Orange Pill app, I'm going to send 100 copies of Bitcoin evangelism. I'm going to hand deliver them. I'm sure Dennis Porter would be happy to help us with this again. We've done something similar to this before. We're going to hand deliver 100 copies of Bitcoin evangelism to every senator in the Capitol. I will literally go to the doors and knock on the doors. We've done this before in the House and the Senate with the Bitcoin Standard. We're going to do it again. These people are open to this. It's kind of crazy to walk into the Capitol with a a wheelbarrow full of Bitcoin books. But guys, the response to this kind of stuff is insane. If Cynthia Loomis, if you guys can tag her, repost this, DM her to get her to look at it. If she signs up for the Orange Pill app in the next, let's call it the next week, because I don't know how long we can track this thing for, we will go do that, and we will start to orange pill, not just like orange pill from afar and like, hey, we're gonna send an email to our senator. No, we're actually going to put this book right on every one of their desks. And I'll tell you what, when we did this before a year ago with Dennis Porter, Satoshi Action Fund, and all those guys, we did something similar. Guys, it was a little bit different environment. There were some people that were very responsive to it, but it was a Bitcoin bear market, and the similar response we got are from the aides, the staffers, which are usually college kids or young, mid-20s, that sort of thing. Maybe the congressman or the senator wasn't particularly interested, but what they would always say is, oh, hey, Tim, or hey, Susie on our staff, they've been tasked with studying this stuff. So actually they'll read the book. So I think that a lot of people are skeptical, like, oh, they don't even read the bills that they pass. Why would you send them a Bitcoin book? There's somebody on their team that will read these books. And these are people that are influencing these people. And by the way, we're in a pro Bitcoin environment. Senators are going to be able to make their careers if they can tag their name to these strategic bills and these pro Bitcoin advocacy type of policies. People they're not putting their reputation on the line. They're making their reputation off this stuff. So guys, the harvest is ripe. Help us push this past the goal line.
Absolutely. 100%. Guys, this is what citizen journalism is all about. This previous election has proven, guys, the attacks from the ECB, the attacks from the monetary demons. We go in there every time the European Central Bank tweets something negative about Bitcoin. You see the comment section, We are an army. We are an army of the awakened. So take action, take agency. Don't ask what Bitcoin could do for you. Ask what you can do for Bitcoin. And this is one of the things getting Cynthia Lummis on the Orange Pill app. Could you imagine like all the messages she's going to get, the positive reinforcement? Remember, she's the one leading the charge for the strategic Bitcoin reserve in the United States. And if that gets passed, right now, it's like a 32% on Polymarket, pretty high. If that gets passed, right? Guys, this is going to create a domino effect worldwide, because every country is going to look at the United States and say, look, we can't get left behind. Russia's not going to just sit on their hands. China's not going to sit on their hands, right? So yes. And then what is that going to do to the price? I mean, look, guys, we're at $92,700 right now, right? So yes, call to action, go tag Cynthia Lummis on the Orange Pill app. We put the Opti, could you put the tweet in the chat so people could see it? And tag Cynthia Lummis, just bombard her. Be nice, of course. Yes. Be kind, color within the lines, but tag her, call attention to it. And if enough people do it, hopefully she receives the message. Anyways, guys, I want to thank all of you guys for tuning into Simply Bitcoin Live today. We broke an all-time high of viewership for our channel, broke 800 live viewers on YouTube alone. Also, of course, Rumble, Twitter, making all-time highs as well. We're incredibly, guys, I can't emphasize this enough. Starting this 4 years ago, cannot believe, getting here. And we would not be able to be here without you guys. I can't emphasize that enough. It's a privilege. We don't take this lightly. And we really, really appreciate you guys, because we would not be here without you. You guys asked us a lot of questions in terms of how to support the channel. Best way to support the channel, guys, the channel is funded by our partners. So if you want to support us, check out our partners. It's in the video/podcast description. We're very selective on who we choose to partner with. They're Bitcoin only companies, and they promote, but then they make Bitcoin only products, which are going to help you achieve financial sovereignty and truly become a sovereign individual. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed today's show, you know what to do. Smash the like button. Consider subscribing if you feel like we provided you value. And of course, share this content. Get the message out there. I want to thank our special guest today, Brian DeMint of the Orange Pill app. Go give him a follow on Twitter. Download the Orange Pill app today. Also, my legendary co-host sitting beside me, Optimus Fields. We are Simply Bitcoin Live. Guys, tomorrow we're going to be streaming. I don't know yet, but we will hopefully be streaming from the conference floor of Adopting Bitcoin. I don't know. But we'll keep you posted. On Friday, there won't be a show because we will be streaming the Adopting Bitcoin conference. We're going to be doing live interviews from some of your favorite Bitcoiners. I don't know who yet, but just go check out the Adopting Bitcoin list. There's very high profile names. I'm sure we'll get a lot of them to do interviews with them. They're going to be having panels. And of course, they're going to be streaming live on Saturday. Also, stay tuned for Rustin's Simply Bitcoin Originals. That's dropping later on today. Guys, we love you, and we will see you tomorrow for another episode of Simply Bitcoin Live.
Today's episode was brought to you by BitcoinWell.com, a Bitcoin-only platform on a mission to enable financial independence.